Hello and welcome back to the final race of Tier 5 Season 8 for GT7 on Aero League Racing. I'm Ross Thorm. I'll be taking you through this final 40-minute endurance race. We've got David on pole. Remember, this is a reverse grid, so we've got David, Parker and Danger, who were the last three finishers who managed to start on at the front. David looks like he's got a really good start in this rolling start. Looks like Denger's having to defend here from Marvel Mags, and he manages to do it quite well. Let's see what's going on. Quackhouse is solidly in P5, SD 6th. D-Dubs, well, there's a little bit of a gaggle of cars here in the fight for P7. It looks like D-Dubs has kept it. JP's having his usual, typical good start. I do have to clarify, he wants me to say this. He got his podium in the last race on merit. There's nothing to do with the car being boosted in the most recent update, but to be fair to him, he did have to still pull the performance out of it as he's trying to get around D-Dubs here. He's on the soft tyres as well, and it's really tricky to go around this section quickly, but he's managed to do it. But they're still battling into this big heavy braking zone, as you see the cruise ship in the background there. We are racing around Croatia, which is a hotspot for the cruise ships. JP looks like he has managed to nab P7 off D-Dubs, and it looks like he's going to try and chase down SD after him. But let's stick with D-Dubs because he's got our P2. He's still technically in the championship fight here, Mr. Berserk. He does need to win, and Black Widow needs to finish pretty much last out of all these drivers in order for him to win the championship though. But he's got that move done quite cleanly on D-Dubs in his DBR9. It looks like D-Dubs might be trying to do the switchback, but it didn't really work there. That's happened a little bit down. Black Widow, of course, are making her standard cruise through the field, already up into P10. Should probably be in the top 5, knowing her by the end of lap 2. So we got Quackhouse. He did start in, I think it was P5. He's had a little bit of contact there with his teammate, and he is still battling really well. That manages to keep the place ahead of D-Dubs there. Both of them falling back in this opening portion of the race. Looks like Berserk is giving JP a run for his money here though, so let's stick with this for now. He did have to back out as we entered that little double right-hander sequence. Everyone taking the S's section of the track really cleanly there. Some variations in line. Oh, it looks like SD may have made a little mistake. It's allowed for... Oh, JP's off the track there, and he's managed to just save it. And is he going to still try and get a move done on SD? SD gets a little bump from Berserk, and he goes a little bit wide. They're still 3 wide going around the corner. And it looks like Berserk actually came out better, and JP's lost a couple of places there. That's not Berserk, that's Marvel Mags, excuse me. I'm just used to seeing Berserk at the front, but it's nice to see Marvel is putting in a really good... Oh, what's happened to JP? He's fallen all the way back. Everyone seemed to have ghosted through him there though, fortunately, and he's got a job on his hands with loads of damage to try and recover. It looks like Jin hasn't had the best start either. He's down in P14, so he's got... Oh, and he's got a bit of damage there, so he's got a recovery job to do. But at the front, Parker has taken the lead over from David. Don't know where that's happened, so let's go back and just see where this overtake for the lead happened. The Audi R8, some people have been fancying this since the latest update, so it'll be interesting to see if Parker, once he completes this move, it looks like David went a bit wide and Parker took advantage of that. And it'll be interesting to see if he can pull away a little bit, but let's go back to where we were because we don't need to watch parts of the race that we've already seen. So yeah, he's got about a second lead over David. Then there is quite a big gap up back to Danger, who's solidly in P3, and Marvel's actually catching up to him and SD despite all of this fighting. Danger's not involved in it, but these two haven't lost too much time. Now we've got Berserk with his championship rival Black Widow right behind him, so let's just stick with Berserk and see if he can keep Black Widow behind him for any length of time. Berserk, by the way, was a Tier 2 driver last season. Didn't sign up for the new season, but came in as a very late entry, so we chucked him into Tier 5, and obviously he's performed pretty well, but unfortunately for him, not well enough to win the championship, despite having completed an extra round on Black Widow. So yeah, no doubt both of these will be in higher tiers next season. Also, the championship winner in every tier, it is mandatory that they do get promoted at least one tier, but to be honest, we have in the past promoted people more than one tier because their pace simply deserved it. It happened, for example, with Leper, who won tier 3 and we chucked him in tier 1, and he's done incredibly well in tier 1 actually. He's got some really solid results, even though he's in the Toyota FT1, which isn't the fastest. We've got Berserk really trying hard to keep Black Widow behind here. And so far so good, but she is going to have the slipstream. Ooh, she's a bit wonky in the corner. She hit the curb a little bit too hard there, which lost a little bit of traction and allowed Berserk to keep the position for now. Excuse me. So yeah, that's one of the rules. You do have to get promoted and complete at least one full season in a higher tier before you are eligible to get moved back down. And the other is you aren't allowed to race in your championship winning car for 2 seasons. So if Black Widow wins, she will be banned from the Corvette for season 9 and 10. But there are plenty of other cars, so it's not too much of a penalty. It's just to give everyone else a chance to try to even the playing field. As Black Widow does have a look around the inside, but Berserk is pretty good on the lanes. He does go really wide though, but he probably... Oh no, Black Widow does have... It does look like she has the move done there. It looks like Danger is all over the place in front of them as well, which could cause a little bit of a problem for them. Millsy just behind Berserk as well. Millsy had a great sprint race in that GTR, the 2018 version, so we'll be looking to do it again. Danger's trying to go defensive already against Black Widow, and it looks like Berserk might be trying a late move. Actually, Berserk's also defending at the same time on Millsy. All sorts happening right now. Really great racing. And Danger seems to have just completely backed out of it. Now, Black Widow already up to P5. It's only the end of lap 5, or the end of lap 4, start of lap 5. But Berserk is trying to get, well, he's not letting this go lightly, as a really terrible... Oh, let's watch that again. That was absolutely terrible for Black Widow. Absolutely just completely missed the braking zone. Swiped someone off. That would have definitely got a penalty if it was reported. Pretty shocking driving, to be honest. Look at this. You can't do that. You can't do that. That is what we would call in ALR a dive bomb. And now Black Widow's up to P4 and has David just ahead. So David did start on pole, remember. He's still doing pretty decently. Did he get punted off there? I'm not sure. It looked a little bit like it. If that's the case, again, another example of dodgy driving. Not very impressed with that. Berserk's all over the back of Black Widow though, so he could have an opportunity a little bit later in the lap if Black Widow doesn't get past David quickly to get an overtake done. It's not an overtaking spot this fast, S's. Yeah, Black Widow is on the outside though. David does brake late. Black Widow brakes incredibly early. And Berserk could, yeah, missed it. Well, he broke incredibly late actually, and that's why he didn't manage to get any overtakes done. And David's defending really well here. Still has P3. He should be quite pleased with himself. It bodes well that he is pretty decent at this wheel-to-wheel racing. There is a yellow flag somewhere. I think that's for Danger. This is... Yeah, I think he's just pulled over there. That's quite naughty. You shouldn't be doing that. Obviously, you can't get any overtakes done, and that's why Black Widow has a 3-second penalty. Obviously, the yellow flags were showing on her screen, so I don't know why she continued with the overtaking attempt, because she's just going to get penalised very heavily at the next braking zone. But yeah, might have to have a little word with Danger, because we shouldn't be seeing that in any of our races. David, oh, that was a bit dodgy from David. Well, let's say, oh no, I was going to say it's 1-1, but it was actually a different driver that Black Widow kind of murdered the lap before. So Berserk has managed to take advantage of that and actually, well, he very, very briefly took P3, and now he's missed out, and Millsy's overtaken him as well as Black Widow. But she will lose positions to all these people when she has to serve her 3-second penalty and have to overtake them all again. I would understand the frustration at getting that penalty, but at the same time, it's not a kind of penalty that we would look to remove, because you still overtook under yellow flags regardless of the reason that the yellow flags are out. So Berserk and Millsy having a lovely little battle here. Millsy having his best weekend probably of the season so far. Really, really nice to see. Millsy's been with us for several seasons now, pretty much since almost the beginning of GT7. So we love to see that. So let's see what happens to Black Widow. She's really, really, really slowing down a lot. So it falls behind Berserk, Millsy, Smithy. Darby's going to get back past as well, even though he lost quite a lot of time on that lap to this chasing pack. Black Widow gives her a little tap in the middle of the corner, but nothing really to worry about there, as it looks like JP has a 3-second penalty, so he must have done an overtake in that section as well. So it's not just affecting one car, it's affecting everyone who wants to get an overtake done in a part of the track where it's really easy for someone to make a mistake because of death chicane. Ooh, what's happening here? Berserk and Millsy still battling it out, and Millsy goes a bit wide, and actually that allows Smithy to get past. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, Black Widow and JP are having a little fight. Black Widow down in 8th now. Obviously won't take her too long to get back past them, as she nearly wipes out JP there on the corner exit. You need to really have a bit better spatial awareness when you're racing wheel to wheel with cars. And I get that she's quicker than everyone. She's overtaken every single car here multiple times this season. I've watched most of those overtakes, but yeah, you just have to be patient, not get too hot-headed, because you get reported for some of these things, especially if they end up with another driver in the wall. You do get a penalty. So Berserk is comfortably in P3 though, ahead of Millsy, Smithy, and JP, who's going to serve his 3-second penalty. It might drop him outside the top 10, because the field spread isn't that big at the moment. The car's in front. Smithy's just overtaken Berserk, so he's going to get a penalty potentially as well. Let's see, unless he overtook him before the yellow flags came out. Oh, he got away with it. So at least someone managed to get an overtake done there. Yeah, so there will be a yellow flag zone a little bit further down from where Smithy completed his overtake, which is why he managed to get away with it. So we've got a Nismo 3-4, just to talk about the Constructors title, because this is the exciting one, to be fair. These guys, as it stands, will win the Constructors, having started the weekend in 4th place out of only like 10 teams. So they've still got a lot of work to do, but this could be a great little Constructors triumph for these two. Black Widow now all over the back of the other championship contender, Mr. Berserk. I think she'll need plenty more 3-second penalties for him to win the championship though. Parker and Essie are having great races as well, by the way. Berserk goes a little bit wide, and that opens the door for Black Widow. However, he does have the inside line for the next corner. Who's going to be better on the brakes? Whoa. It looks like Black Widow was far better on the brakes, and goes a little bit wide on the exit, but absolutely nothing to worry about, and gets P5 once again. Again, we're going through this section. Don't overtake, don't overtake. Just wait until the start straight, or else you will be penalized. Black Widow's already caught up to the back of Smithy. Yeah, you see how she takes turn 1 and 2. much better than Smithy. Smithy, by the way, is one of our best drivers as well, and she just catches up to him so quickly. Best drivers in this tier, I should say, which further reinforces that. That is not how you do an overtake. What is going on in this race? She's absolutely lost her head. You can't overtake like that. That isn't even an overtaking spot. This also isn't an overtaking spot, so if you try to do something here, it's not going to end well. Luckily, she backed out of it. Nice composed driving there for Smithy in the braking zone. It's very difficult when you've got a driver that you know is a lot faster than you breathing down your neck. Because you not only have to drive a bit faster than you normally used to driving to keep them behind, but you have to potentially drive a lot more carefully. Black Widow did hit the wall there but avoided damage. And hopefully she's learnt a lesson and isn't going to try the overtake. Well, looks like she hasn't learned a lesson, she's going to try the overtake, so that's another 3-second penalty coming for her. There we are, oh dear. I mean, it flashes on your screen, like, when you're driving. Yellow flags, yellow flags. I mean, we can see it on our screen, so... well... what can you do? Except Berserk's going to try and get a move done on her now as well. It's gonna give him a little... as she does... What is she doing? Let's watch that again from her point of view. In what world is this a wise idea to try and overtake? Right. You can't do that. You can't do that. Jesus Christ. And that just allows Berserk to go through. Well, you know what? Well deserved. Smithy didn't lose a place. But if that was reported, it would probably end up in a penalty as well. Absolutely appalling. Yeah, she hits the apex there, but actually manages to avoid another driver this time. And D-Dubs has come from nowhere. He's actually hitting the fight for some decent points today. Love to see it. Very chaotic race so far, I've got to say. Mistakes all over the place. I don't know if it's because it's the last round of the season, or the update has made some of the driving a bit more questionable, but... yeah, tier 5 for being the lowest tier usually has pretty decent driving standards, I've got to say. Let's see what's happening at the front. Parker has a lead. It's not a great lead. Maybe 1 or 2 seconds ahead of SD, who's probably having his best race of the season here. Millsy, yeah, I heard a bit of screeching. He's just hit the barriers after building up a really good lead over Berserk. Now he's going to start getting caught up a little bit. There's Smithy and there's Black Widow serving another 3-second penalty. And Dubs just going past her, but she only drops to 7th this time because the field has spread a little bit more than it did previously. Let's join this little battle for the lead. Let's see if SD can make any headway at all on Parker. Parker's having a great race as well, by the way. He's not had the most luck so far this season in his rookie season in ALR GT7. Hasn't got a top 10 finish yet. So this could be, if he plays his cards right, his first top 10 finish of the season, and what a way to end the season on a high and get prepared for next season. But he does go, what is that commentator's curse? Probably. And SD, I don't think I've seen SD in the lead of a race before. This could potentially be the first time he's led, so absolutely well done for SD for getting himself in this position. Parker's still in P2. Millsy had that error, but is still comfortably in P3 ahead of Berserk, and now D-Dubs, who's going to start getting chased by Black Widow, and someone else must have had a mistake somewhere or got into the pits. I'm not entirely sure, but she wasn't 7th at the start of the lap, and she's up to 6th, and I don't think it was Mags. Oh, look, Mags and Stuart are having a nice little battle. Oh, what's happened to Parker? Let's rewind that a second. So he's having a nice little battle with Millsy. He just goes too wide. I know exactly what he was doing. He got the angle wrong because he was probably a bit more worried about Yeah, he gets that's a wise decision from Berserk there. Bump drafting Parker because overtaking would have resulted in a penalty. It looks like Black Widow might be doing an overtake on D-Dubs just outside of the yellow flag zone. And Berserk still has that... well, he's kind of cut off his nose to spite his face a little bit there because he still got the damage from bump drafting Parker because he wasn't allowed to overtake him. There we go, it's gone now. But it just allowed Berserk and D-Dubs to really close up on him. Ooh, what happened there? I think she took too much curb and basically mounted it and then just lost a few positions there. I'm glad that we don't have the error that we had in the first race where the liveries just didn't load. We've got some nice liveries going on here. Millsy's starting to get caught a little bit by Berserk, I think, and D-Dubs as well. D-Dubs is having, pace-wise, his best race. Like, he's pretty close to the top after 12 laps. Probably held by the fastest driver, having penalties and getting involved in all sorts of calamity. Smithy down in P8. So he was in the top 4 earlier. I did say that this could potentially change things for the team that started in P4 in the Constructors' Championship, the 18 Nismo team. Oh, what a great exit from that corner Smithy had. Oh, he absolutely slingshotted it past Marvel Mags there. Great little overtaking move. He should be really proud of that. Obviously on a bit of a recovery drive. Or did he pit? No, it doesn't look like he pit. He must have had a mistake. I probably saw it, but I've already forgotten. Where's the fighting going on? It's probably going to still be with Black Widow. I wanted to... Oh, here we go. Mags and Smithy. Let's give some other drivers a bit of screen time. The tyres on that DBR9 aren't doing too good, especially compared to Smithy's. Smithy's tyres are in far, far, far better condition. And that's probably why he's been able to close in so quickly. Now Smithy has to not do any overtaking here. Oh, he's not right. There we go. He can do it now. That was perfect timing for an overtaking move. Absolutely compliant with what was going on, and he gets the move done. As it looks like Black Widow and Stuart have both come into the pits. It looks like they're probably the first people to come into the pits as well. Surprised Marvel didn't come in because his tires are pretty dead. D-Dub's also into the pits, but the top 6 currently on your screen are doing an extra lap. Right, let's see. Any other battling? Mag's obviously had an off because he's back behind Jin. D-Dubs is coming out, and is he going to get ahead of Parker? It doesn't look like it. So Parker, after himself pitting, oh, he's on the hards. This is going to be a tough lesson for him, doing the rest of the race on the hards, which are not going to perform like the tyres he was on previously, and you just don't need them, basically, in almost any car. So, might be a tough old afternoon from here on in. He is top of the cars that have pitted. Then there's D-Dubs just behind him on the softs, so he'll be wanting to overtake him incredibly quickly. Then we got JP and Stuart just behind them as well. SD is in the pits now as well, so we'll keep following these guys. Oh, D-Dubs does get the move done, finally. And that might be an important move because he'll want to put in a really solid end to the lap and come out ahead of SD and Millsy as the highest placed car, essentially, that's pitted. Looks like Berserk and Jin are still going for another round as well. Everyone else in the pits. Is that the... No, I don't think... Oh, what's happened here? Oh, what's happened, Parker? You've just slowed right down and let everyone past you. Looks like JP entered the pits really late. You might get a 3-second penalty for that. Don't know who to follow here. There's all sorts going on. So we've got the Corvette and Stewart battling it out. And Black Widow wins out that one. So D-Dubs is... So actually, Millsy managed to jump SD in the pits. I got a bit confused with all the chaos. So Millsy is comfortably ahead of SD, which... Well, SD might have put in a little bit too much fuel, or Millsy might have put in a little not enough fuel, but yeah, he managed to jump him in the pits and put in more fuel. Well, due to SD putting in more fuel, and both... Well, they are very much comfortably ahead of D-Dubs and the chasing pack behind. D-Dubs has his hazards on, which I'm sure he doesn't realise. Berserk is in the pits as well now. Is Black Widow going to try another overtake in the yellow flag zone? Yeah. So this will be another 3 seconds. I wonder how many times it has to happen before she realises. Well, third time was not lucky. Oh dear. Berserk is out in third place though, so that's really good for him. SD is solidly in P2, so Berserk will probably be trying to hunt him down fairly quickly. He does have much less fuel, both on the softs. Looks like Stewart and D-Dubs having a nice little fight here. Stewart having a bit of a better race. Nice to see. He's one of the most improved drivers from the start of the season to now, I would say. I think he took my advice on the strategy as well. He's not got a full tank of fuel this time around, like he did in Deep Forest, where he managed to finish in the podium positions, but unfortunately overfueled, which made him a bit slower towards the end of the race compared to the cars around him. Actually, he might be driving. He's actually losing a bit of ground here to D-Dubs. Anything happening further up? Well, these guys are all on their own pretty much. Let's see what this 3-second penalty does to Black Widow. I'm assuming it would only put her down into 6th place. Yep. It doesn't look like, yeah, T. Smithy's way too far behind to mount a challenge. And Parker on his hard tyres has lost pace with this pack. Jin in the top 10, it'll be interesting to see where he finishes because I think he's trying a bit of a different strategy. He must have started on the softs. Well, if he did, then maybe his first stint wasn't too great. We did see him towards the very back of the pack though, after a couple of laps. So potentially an issue there, and he's mounting a recovery drive now. Got Marvel in P10 quite solidly, Quackhouse in 11th. We've got Cracker, JP. What happened to Davy? Did he just run into Smithy there? I'm not sure. Let's see. Oh, some very, very questionable driving there. Oh dear. Yeah, again, another incident that almost definitely would have resulted in a penalty if it was reported to the stewards, but thankfully we only had 3 reports from the stewards, actually only 1 in this feature race, which is probably coming up fairly soon. saved us a bit of a job this season. So Black Widow definitely has a good run on D-dubs now, coming out of the S's. Advantage doesn't have great straight line speed, but it is really good on the brakes, and it's really good in these kind of parts of the track as well. So pretty decent switch back there from Black Widow, and gets the move done before the chicane. Pretty decent, and actually doesn't it doesn't unsettle either of them. That little battle going through the faster part of the chicane where it's really easy to make a mistake. So Black Widow back up to P4 and will be chasing down Berserk. If you took those 9 seconds, well actually it was more than 9 seconds, it was just 9 seconds off throttle, but that definitely costs them more than 9 seconds when they have to serve those penalties. But it's difficult to know how far off the lead she is, but if she didn't have that, she'd probably already be in first, which is about right for Black Widow, you know. But Millsy is our race leader at the moment, and you love to see it. Can't remember Millsy leading a race actually. He was involved in quite a few unfortunate incidents in the opening laps of several of the races this season, and he's actually been pretty outperformed by Smithy as well throughout the season, so he's doing pretty well here to be leading the race. SD is bearing down on him though, and Berserk is bearing down on both of them. It seems like, well, Berserk at 40.2, 40.7 for SD and a 40.2 for Millsy. Yeah, they're all lapping fairly similar pace. Black Widow just setting 38.6 though, obviously. So just a casual 2 seconds a lap quicker than her compatriots, well not compatriots, what do you call people who are in the same tier as you? I don't know. Ridiculous pace, that's what I'll call it. Probably because this is potentially the first lap that she's actually got some clear air where she hasn't been trying to overtake people on certain penalties. But let's stick with this battle at the front because it looks like it's about to start getting juicy. Berserk may have a run on SD here as well, 2 Dutch drivers. Driving quite patiently behind SD here, really waiting for his opportunity to strike, you can tell. Which this part of the lap isn't a traditional overtaking part of the lap. There aren't any decent braking zones. You can see Berserk's car is pretty damaged there on the front right, front left. He was a lot better on the brakes there. He had to go a little bit wide to avoid the contact with SD. Going to get the slipstream here. It does look like he does have a bit of acceleration compared to SD. Not sure it's gonna be enough. That M6 is really quick in a straight line, so it is quite hard to overtake an M6 in basically a drag race. Ooh, but he got a much better exit there, and he's alongside, and he's got the inside of the next corner, and this is probably going to be it for Berserk. Absolutely great overtake there, very clean, exactly how it should be done. And Berserk actually has a chance to sign off the season on a high and potentially get a win here. Unless SD wants to have a go back, but he's going to have to probably try and get it done at this next overtaking spot if he's going to. He does have a run on him. He did go through those DSs much better than Berserk. Berserk must have got a little bit squirrely at some point, struggling for traction, but he does manage to cover off the inside line and make the apex as well and keep P2. And Millsy will be hoping that all these cars, and no doubt Black Widow is going to join them fairly soon, have a bit of a battle between themselves to avoid any of them to close the gap on him, essentially. 34 minutes into the race, and the top three are Millsy, Berserk, and SD. This would be SD's first podium, and I think it would be Millsy's first win in all of ALR. Looks like Black Widow might actually have a run on SD here as well. Maybe not now. They all seem to be fairly evenly spread out at the moment. What about a bit further back? Smithy, D-Dubs and Stewart are pretty close together. Jin is solidly in P8, seems to be pretty much on his own. Loads of space ahead and behind him. So probably the realistic place where he's going to finish. Marble Mags, Parker, Cracker in P11, Quackhouse has dropped down to 12th now. Davith and Danger is in 14th. And we had one driver, I think, disconnect. It looks like Black Widow's all over the back of SD now, so let's stick with this battle for now. I love that shot there where they go over the hill and you just see the islands and the sea in the background. It's really nice. So Black Widow was trying to do a little bit of a cutback like she's done on one or two other drivers, but it wasn't successful there. SD really defended the inside line really well here. And she doesn't try and get an overtake done there, so potentially has realised that you can't do that now. But here we go, this is going to be the best run on overtaking SD that she'll have, potentially, at least until the next corner if she doesn't pull it off on this corner. Yeah, and that is what earned Black Widow a 5-second penalty, so let's just rewind that so you can see again. So obviously has a really good run here. He brakes, there's the contact. He would have easily made the corner if Black Widow hadn't hit him. He ends up in the wall and she just carries on. Usually when drivers end up in the wall, the polite thing to do, and we see it done throughout all of the tiers in ALR, is wait and allow the driver to run past. Unfortunately, that's not what happened here. In fact, she denied that there was even any contact at all until we had to show her proof, which was quite bizarre. But anyway, that was a 5-second penalty, so just remember that for the end of the race, because it will potentially move her down 1 or 2 positions depending on where she finishes. But let's rejoin a different battle, because we've got Berserk still pretty close to Millsy. And it hasn't taken him long to catch up to Millsy, considering he only just overtook SD, who's dropped all the way down to 7th now, unfortunately, the lap previously. So his hopes of a podium completely ruined by an unnecessary and aggressive move by Black Widow there, which was probably the 3rd I count of this race on different drivers. Ooh, oh, he manages to avoid, they both lost traction there, but they both managed to avoid the wall, but I think Millsy took Death Corner a little bit, Death Chicane a little bit better than Berserk did. Let's see what's going on a little bit further down. D-Dubs and Stewart. SD, can he mount a recovery drive? All his damage is gone now. hasn't helped Jin out at all, any of this drama, though. He's still just solidly in P8. I have a feeling he'd be maybe 10-20 seconds further up the road if he if his car wasn't completely destroyed, but there we are. Nice little Sunday drive for him to finish off his season. Jin's most important goal, I think I mentioned it in the sprint race, was to finish in P3. As it stands, he will, because the only person who could really overtake him is Smithy, who was 20 points behind when the race began. What's going to happen with Millsy here? He's going to have to start driving a bit more defensively now, because he's going to have the top 2 from tier 5 really down his shoulders in maybe a lap's time, as opposed to just having the 1. Grazes the wall there, but doesn't get damage. Ooh, yeah. Berserk knows not to overtake in the yellow zone. And Millsy keeps it, but he did lose a little bit of traction on the exit, which is probably going to give Berserk a bit of a run. But I have a feeling that the update wasn't kind to the DBR9 straight line speed, because he is struggling in the slipstream compared to most of the other cars, to be fair. So something to think about if you're trying to find a car for next season, if you're watching this. Maybe the DBR9 might not be the best on... Oh, what a perfect... Oh no, what's happening? What's happening? So much contact. I was about to say what a perfect exit for Millsy, but... Not for Millsy, for Berserk, but that wasn't actually clean at all. Let's go back and watch... Oh, I actually went back a whole lap. Let's not do that. I don't want to... So... Let's go back again. I can't really tell whose fault that was based on the first watch. I wasn't expecting it at all. What a shame for Millsy. He was obviously leading so much of this race with well, this is essentially the final lap as well. So Millsy loses traction going up the hill, and it allows Berserk to take the rumble strips. Millsy doesn't really give him enough space to rejoin the track, so they're both fighting over the exact same piece of tarmac. I understand why Millsy did that, but maybe he should have just moved along to the right a little bit so that they both could have continued their battle down into the corner, because Millsy would have had the inside line. And maybe that's why it wasn't reported. Millsy kind of maybe took a little bit of the blame for that. Massive shame for Millsy. I really wanted him to get a podium. So that promotes Berserk into P1, Black Widow into P2, and Smithy into another podium for him. He's, like I said, ending the season on a real high, but really if he wanted to finish in the top 3 of the championship, I think he needs to overtake both of these drivers. So remember, this is the final lap. We have a yellow flag as well, so even if Berserk had an awful exit there, he can't get overtaken. But Black Widow is really close as we approach the last corner of the race. He gets a really good exit there, and Berserk will take yet another win in Tier 5 to sign off his season in style. He will get P2. Black Widow will be your champion as well for Tier 5. Smithy P3, absolute great end of the season for him. And then all the way back, poor Millsy. I really feel for him. He gets P4. D-Dub's really solid drive for P5. Stuart P6. SD in the end was only P7. And we've got Jin in 8th as the last driver. Mag 9th. Quackhouse, Cracker, Parker, Davith, and Danger, who I will be having words with after parking it up after 4 laps of, what is it, 25? 24? It's not good. It's caused some unnecessary issues. Black Widow will drop behind, I think, Smithy and potentially Millsy there as well because of her 5-second penalty for what she did to SD. But it doesn't affect the fact that she still is the champion. Completely undisputed. By far the quickest driver in the tier. So, yeah, the championship, if it went to anyone else, it would be very strange. But yeah. Next season we will try and make sure that the tiers are evenly split. We don't have as many reserves joining because we aren't expanding to 6 tiers. We'll keeping it 5. So we know all the drivers pace really well. So we are very confident that next season the tier is going to be really, really accurate. We're going to have some really great racing. So that's it from me. Thank you for watching all season with me. I really appreciate you taking your time to do it. It's been quite enjoyable for me. This it might be tier 5, but these guys do have quite a lot of skill in side-by-side racing. And it'll be really interesting to see what tiers they all end up in next season. So keep an eye out for that. Tier announcements will be 25th of April. No, that will be the update. I think the tier announcements... Oh, I think it's around about then as well. End of the month, anyway. We'll let you know. Thanks for watching. Bye.